All right, guys, welcome back to the Fitz and Franson Show. I think Fitz, we're already on like episode 10 or 11 or something like that. It's been a whirlwind this summer. It's been a ton of fun. And we're really having a good time getting guests on here and just picking their brain and hearing their stories and see and learn from them and just have a great conversation. And so today we have a great guest. He's a good friend of mine and Fitz's, and he's done a lot in the network. And we just wanted to chat with Jon Zimmerman about what's going on in his world. He spends a lot of time doing sales training, sales boot camp through Pentech. And we kind of want to talk about what does it look like to be winning in sales in 2025. It's a ongoing conversation. The cycle is marketing, sales, production, and it's an endless cycle. And business owners are always trying to solve problems in one of those three areas. And so today we're going to hone in a little bit more on the sales side of it. And so welcome, Jon Zimmerman.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And so, on the marketing side of this stuff, winning looks like being everywhere all the time. And we do a great job of that here at Powerful Media. We run a bunch of different types of campaigns to let people think of our brand first, right? I went to a local BNI a couple months ago, and I was talking about our local shop because the question is, what do you do? And I said, I do marketing for home improvements. And they said, like who? And I said, I do marketing for Polytech of Rochester. And I said, there's actually about eight or 10 concrete coating companies in Rochester. And they said, really? Polytech of Rochester is the only one I've ever heard of. And so it's a great thing to do on the marketing side. But I'd like to hear Jon's input on what does that look like on the sales side of this when you get an invitation into someone's home.
If there's one thing I love talking about, it's like, how do we close more deals? That is, and it's been a fun couple months. We've had so many new dealers join the Pentech network that we've hosted, I think 3 almost back-to-back virtual boot camps. And so it is something. And Fitz and I were talking about it. It comes back to all these basics oftentimes, and I was thinking getting ready for this, I'm going to throw out kind of 3 go-to basics when it comes to like, what does it look like to win, right, in selling home improvements, maybe even selling a want product, like a luxury garage floor coating or an awning or whatever it is. It all comes down to oftentimes these kind of core principles. So, yeah, I'll dive in, and Fitz can critique me. He's one of the few people qualified to critique me in this topic. So hats off to you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
There's on a little kickoff last night. Yeah, a little bit of a rain delay towards the end there. May have fallen asleep, but it was good.
I dozed off myself, but it was an exciting one there right before the first play of the game, really.
That was it's uncanny.
Got a little testy at the beginning of that. Yeah.
Oh, go Cowboys, go Eagles. That's real result moment with those two guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Jon, we've run a couple of the boot camps together, and I've been fortunate enough to be part of the boot camp. And I know, one of the things that Jay and I, with working with some of the dealers over the last several months here, the landscape of the competition has changed, and Jay alluded to that, here to start us today. And it's changed in the perspective of, the products haven't changed, but the amount of, competitions out there. How has that changed, if at all, what our approach is during boot camp, or what your approach is when you're teaching and talking with new dealers or new salespeople coming into our world?
Yeah. It's usually we kick off boot camp. I ask everybody that's attending, like, hey, what's 1 or 2 things you'd really like to take out of this class together? And closing against competition, how to beat the competition, dealing with the fact that we're priced higher than our competition, and then more product knowledge, magic bullet points. And oftentimes they put all those 3 together. Like, if you could just give me, 3 more magic bullet points that only this thing has, and what can we tell our clients that they can only buy this because it's better? And then they're looking for these magic answers on which they can hang their hat on. And after selling concrete coatings with Pentech for, I think, almost 17 years, it very, very rarely comes down to those magic bullet points. There's a couple, three simpler principles that just stand out. And I'll throw one of them out there and see what you think about this one. But it's the simplest one, and it just is slow this train down, spend more time. Like, don't be in a hurry. Make a friend. Like, it's just this core simple thing of most of your competitors, most of the other salespeople that your customers are going to see, they're in the home for tops of 20 to 30 minutes. They get caught talking about concrete coatings within 2 or 3 minutes, and they miss the opportunity to establish rapport, to build friendship, to make a connection. They don't pause and take time to ask questions and listen. They get right into talking about concrete coatings. And if I've got a salesperson in a slump, that's oftentimes the first thing I'm going to challenge them with is just, hey, on your next 10 appointments, spend 90 minutes. Spend at least 70. Like, slow down, right?
Right.
Anyway, so simple, but it just...
Yeah. No, it's funny. I think because I've had the pleasure now of doing, I think 2 or 3 of the virtual, sessions with you, and it's almost universally the question that's asked, or the topics that people are asking for. And you almost can see this universal disappointment when we tell them, like, we're going to get into some of that stuff, but there isn't necessarily a silver bullet like that. That's like, hey, here is the one data point that, one data point to rule them all, so to speak, right? It's funny how we think that could be the thing. Why do you think that is, John, in your experience? And, you are a hell of a salesperson, and there's, many reasons people, I think, believe that they're good salespeople. But I think the important thing that makes somebody a good salesperson, they understand why people buy. So why do you think it is that people don't need the data point and they need the other intangible things, I think, that we're talking about there?
Yeah. The way that I've explained it in boot camp over the last probably 5 years hasn't changed, but people get it. Like, the last 3 months, the last classes that I'm seeing, like, aha moments. Like, I never thought about that. So I tell the story about, let's say, Fitz, you and I are sitting at a bar and we're having a beer and we're chatting, and you drive a pickup truck and I drive a pickup truck, and you're like, my lease is up. I'm about to get a new truck, and I'm like, dude, whatever maybe I'm excited. I'm a Chevy guy, but for today, I'm going to pretend I'm a Ford guy, right? So this is how the story goes in boot camp. Like, whatever you do, Fitz, like, you got to buy a Ford F-150 Platinum Edition. Like, it's got this EcoBoost. It's got plenty of torque. You can pull whatever you want, but it's fuel efficient. It's got these massaging seats and these magical cameras, and it looks sharp, and it's, it's whatever you do, Fitz, whatever you do. Buy a Ford F-150 Platinum Edition with massaging seats and the cameras, and you're going to love it. And I'm a good salesman, and we've had a beer, and we're just chatting, and Fitz says to himself, like, hey, what are you going to buy next, Fitz?
Probably Ford F-150.
Awesome. Okay. Now, I've sold you on features and benefits. Whatever you do, you should buy this Ford F-150 Platinum Edition with these bells and whistles. Mm-hmm. We leave the bar. You wake up the next morning. What's the next move for a consumer? Like, what's the next most logic? So now you've decided you're going to buy a truck in the next 30 days. You've honed in on a Ford F-150 Platinum Edition with this and this. What's your next move as a consumer?
Besides convince my wife that I need to spend $100,000 on a truck, which is going to be a hard thing. But yeah, I got to go out and find out where they are so that I can maybe go test drive some of them.
Yeah, you're going to jump on the internet and take a look.
Yeah.
Right? So you find out the truck you're going to buy. Like, most people, it comes with us, well, I want to buy it at the cheapest price. And now with the internet, you can get on, you can look, okay, hey, I can go to cars.com, I can do this. I'm going to look up Ford F-150 Platinum Edition, check these buttons. I heard the buzzwords. And we hone in, now we know what we want to buy. So our next move as a consumer is to do our due diligence to find that product at the cheapest price. So when our salespeople go into the home and they get so excited about features and benefits, which it's pretty easy to do, if you're selling Pentec or a luxury home improvement product, and you've got the best features and benefits, elongation and penetration and UV stability and all of these things, and they're great, right? But when we go in and we educate our potential customers on what to buy, and then we show them the price and it's $7,000 and they were hoping it was going to be $4,000, they're like, okay, great. They never say no, do they? No. Very rarely do they ever say no, but they say, hey, Fitz, this has been really educational. Thank you. We just need some time to think about it. You know what? My grandfather said on his dying deathbed, never make a buying decision. We're one of those people. We want to we just need some time to think about it. But you've been amazing. Thank you. Right? Mm-hmm. Fitz walks out the door. They get on the internet, and what did they hear? Not epoxy. We want something that started with a P, not acid etching, if we're doing concrete coatings, right? It should be this, it should be that. I remember a couple buzzwords, and then they get on the interwebs, they ask for a couple quotes, and they find some guy that's going to do it for $5,000 instead of your price, and you educated them on what to buy, and you set your competition up. They come in $500 or $3,000 less than you, and they're like, great. That Fitz was awesome, told me everything I should buy, Ford F-150 Platinum Edition with these bells and whistles. Then I went on the internet and I got that at the cheapest price. I win.
Yep.
Right? And we see it all the time. And as this industry, if we're talking to, Pentec dealers, as our industry has matured and the level of competition and the salesmanship out there, it comes down to storytelling, right? And we were talking about that yesterday. Like, who's got the best story, And that person oftentimes in. But it's very rarely about what do salespeople think it should be. It's not about bragging about our features and benefits. It's about what? It's about us. It's about our company story. It's about why can I earn your business?
100%. It's funny as I'm sitting here and listening to this, and I've heard you give that analogy before. It's a really great way of thinking about it, and one of the people that I have followed or not followed, but looked at for building some of the sales philosophy that I know we teach and talk about, and Daniel Kahneman, if you're not familiar with him, the idea of emotional decision making versus rational decision making, and how we as human beings are influenced a little bit more by one versus the other. And you use the car analogy, right? And if you go to a lot and you test drive a car and you say, well, we need to think about it, what are they taught to do with that buyer or potential buyer rather when they send you home? Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we hold on to your car? Why don't you take it for an overnight test drive?
Yeah.
Right? Because they know, again, your features and benefits aren't the reason you're buying this car. You're buying it because of the emotional connection. The reason to do a test drive isn't because most people are car people, because they understand that sound means the engine's running well, or when I turn this way, the steering feels like I'm not a car guy. I still got to go in and make the sound for the mechanic to try to get him to understand. And I know I don't need to make the sound. They're just calling everybody out and recording it and going, hey, look, the big dummy's back. He can make the sound again, right? And they're going to go, yeah, sure. That's the thing in the car. And yeah, go ahead. Yeah. But they're putting you in that car overnight so you can picture it in your driveway, in the garage, and you drive it all the way home. You pick the kids up from school and they go, this is cool, right? And the sound is great on the speakers, turn it up, and all of those things. So you're building an emotional connection with it so that you make an emotional decision when you come back to turn that car in. That's like, I can't give this up. And that's the thing. Like, I think too many people want to, we want to rely on, like, it's this picture, it's this data point, it's all of these things that we're searching for. And at the end of the day, this conversation I was having yesterday, and John, you and I were talking about this too, is, well, but our product is so much better. Okay, great, nobody cares. Our warranty is so much better. Okay, great, nobody cares. If you don't think that the competition's going in there and saying the exact same thing, you're wrong. We're all going to go in there and say the exact same thing. It's a matter of who says it better. That's really it, and it's kind of wild. So again, you could be sitting on one side telling me the Chevy story, and somebody else could be sitting on the other side telling me the Ford story. It's a matter of who's going to tell me the better story, and I'm either a Ford guy or a Chevy guy at the end of that conversation, right? And that's really what it's all about. So it's kind of wild. And it's funny because specs and texts are easier than that emotional connection and understanding how to like be there for a little while longer. So it's an awesome point, and it's a cool thing.
It is.
And like the car analogy is, what's the waiting room like? You know, I've gone into dealerships and test drove a vehicle, and I can't prove it, but you almost think that they make you sit in the room longer than you need to. They're like, "No, I got to go talk to my manager." It's like, do you really? Yeah. But they say, "Can I get you a cup of coffee? Can I get you an ice water? Or, I got soda in the fridge." And they want you to stay in their experience that they have created for you, because they want you to be with them long enough. They're making a friend too. A lot of us, we want to do business with people we're familiar with. And that's, I started this off with, people thought Polytech of Rochester was the only business in town because we're everywhere. And if you can get somebody to sit in your car dealership waiting room, they're going to become familiar with it and go, well, I'd rather sit in that waiting room because I know it. And on the marketing side, we tell a story. We actually do quite a few long form ads too, where you want to get the customer to read a story. They're going to familiarize themselves with you, and marketing should be setting up the sales guy to come in, and the customer already says, "Oh, I know about you guys.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're here." Yeah, absolutely. So, tell us a little bit more, John. You gave us the first tip: slow down. What's tip number 2?
Train down, spend more time, build a friend. I love that. And then just shift what we're talking about, right? Don't talk so much about features and benefits. Cover them. They're important. But you know what? Replace it with something like this. Hey, you know what the best things I love about working for this company is XYZ. You know what the best thing I love about working, my job is? I get to help customers take boring spaces like garages and turn them into multi-purpose, workout rooms and spots to watch the football game. And man, your real estate in your neighborhood is $300-400 a square foot, and for less than $10 a foot, I can come in and take your 700 square foot garage and turn it into a man cave, a spot for your grandkids, a place to come home to, a clean space. That's what I love about my job. This is what I've got on my floor, And you start shifting this from, hey, buy this product with this kind of a grinder, and look for this with this warranty. It's good. It just doesn't connect, and we're selling an emotional problem. And to Fitz's point, furthermore, I wish they could. I wish, I could send you home in my car to convince your kids. I can't. With concrete coatings, I can't. Like, I have to create this magic out of thin air. I can't send you home in the Corvette. I can't put the ring on your finger or the person, I can't do that with concrete coatings. So we even more so, we're selling a luxury product that they don't have to have, that's going to cost more than they want, and we have to earn their trust. The good news is they all want the floor. Like, that's not the problem. We just have to figure out how to connect. How are they going to get this floor from me? So as we transition our conversations, just slowing down, asking more questions, listening, really demonstrating to that potential prospect that you're there for their needs, right? And then we get out, we give a masterful demonstration, whatever you're selling, features, you got to get into that. You have to build trust. They have to like you, that's important, but they also have to trust you in this trade. So our vocabulary is so important. Our mastery, our ability to tell stories about the process that we're selling is so important. Now they like us and trust us. Now the third kind of thing that I think it comes down to is confidence in asking for the business. Just your ability to close it. So if you can spend time with your consumer, with your customer, make a friend, build their trust, ask questions, sell an emotional product, connect with them on why your company, why you're passionate, what's unique about you and your company, what you stand for. And then you want to put a bow on it, you have the confidence to go in and close the deal. You have mastery of 3 or 4 different closing strategies, and you're unapologetically a salesperson. Like, we so oftentimes want to hide from that. I'm a professional estimator. Here's my, I don't do anything high pressure. Just call me in a week or 2, Fitz. I'm not going to ask you for the business. That's not what they want. They want to buy the car, they want to buy the floor, and they want to get it done now. And they expect you to be a professional salesperson, to be eager to earn their business. This is how I take care of my family, by helping customers like you get this beautiful floor installed. This is what I do for a living, and I'm not apologizing for it. So when you have the tenacity and the passion to ask for the business, get on the phone and call your boss, do a third-party call, sit with them, ask them questions, unpack why not today, right? They're saying it's not today. Why? There's strategies that we teach it in boot camp, Fitz, and you guys teach it one-on-one with customers and dealers and home improvement companies. That's the magic. Spend more time, slow down, build relationships, right? Quit selling on features and benefits or looking for this mythical, magical bullet point that's going to educate your customer on why this is. I wish it was that easy. It's not. And then be a salesperson that is passionate about closing deals today. If I had to sum it up, that's my top 3 go-tos.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're spot on, and there's obviously layers within those things that you got to practice and work on. There's no doubt about it. But I think one of the things that you got in there, John, that I think too many people gloss over is that picture that you paint of what the result's going to be, right? Like you made the comment that I can't send you home in this, and like I can't put the ring on your finger. It's funny. I had that experience with my wife. We happened at the one and only cruise we got a chance to go on. We won a big prize in a jewelry store. Was trying to get her to buy a ring. Like, well, wear it. You're on the boat. You can't go anywhere. You wear it. She was smart. She took it off and put it in a safe in the room, so she didn't get attached to it. And I was like, thank you. Got to think, but you have to paint those pictures of like what the end result's going to be. And if you're not taking the time to put like colorful language together that puts them in that room and their family in that room for that experience they'll have 6-7 months down the road, then they're not emotionally invested in the experience of what is to be, kind of thing. And then all they are looking at is dollars and cents at the end of your appointment. And that's not a value. There's no value to that other than dollars and cents. And it's a lot of money. There's no doubt about it. They're not wrong in saying that's too much. You didn't give them a reason for it to be the right amount. So yeah, it's interesting. And that's what marketing does.
When you spend more time with a customer, you have more time to tell stories. And your painting analogy, we're painting a tapestry. And so part of my mission is to ask questions like, hey, Fitz, how do you guys use your garage? Or how do you use this patio? Do you ever entertain? Now, but what I just did was introduce into the atmosphere the word entertainment. Do you guys have any hobbies or things you enjoy doing a lot of my clients they saw us on Facebook. They want to have the floor look pretty, but what they don't know is how much better life can be when you have this additional living space. Do you guys ever invite other folks from this cul-de-sac to come over and watch a football game? Do you ever entertain or have Christmas or house? So I want to put the words Christmas, Thanksgiving, grandkids, neighborhood football party, entertaining, coming home to a clean space. As I'm asking questions, I'm painting that picture so they can feel the ring on, they can take the Corvette for a test drive. That's what we're doing. We're painting an emotional picture, giving them more reasons where, hey, I thought it was going to cost this, but now, even though it costs more, I'm getting this, and this. I like this guy and I trust him. Sold.
Yeah. Your third point, and both of you guys know how I feel about this one of, unapologetically a salesperson, in getting to know more and more of the dealers, in this network, and having a chance to talk to them. It's a really cool story for most of them, right? They started out, it's their first business, and many of them are, installers or production minded and that kind of thing. And they're out running appointments for the first time themselves. And I don't want to be the pushy, sleazy salesperson kind of thing. And it's funny when I start talking to them, they get a little empowered with the idea of like, I guess I'm not, if I think about it from that perspective. If you're giving advice to somebody, John, who's newer to the sales side of this business and needing to get over it, I guess get over that feeling of, I'm going to be too pushy. I guess what would be your advice to like getting over that feeling?
Yeah. Two things come to mind right away. Get out on more installations. If you're the salesperson, get out on more installations so you get it in your DNA how cool this process is and how great these floors turn out. And it bleeds from your pores. My next go-to for our new salespeople, if you don't have this product in your life, whatever it is you're selling, a luxury watch, a Corvette, like you got to walk the watch, you got to wear the shoes. So have this product in your life and then tell those stories. Tell stories about when I showed people Thanksgiving and Christmas on my garage in my home, they can't price shop that. That's my emotion. That's why I love the floor, right? Make it personal, tell more personal stories, right? And then unapologetically be a salesperson, just asking for the business, being so excited. It's a difference between being pushy and being enthusiastic. Like when you've been out on installs and you see how cool this transformation process is, and you talk to your customers like, you know what the number one thing I heard for years when I sold, for the first 5-6 years, I sold an awful lot of garage floors for my company. And I would talk to the customers a month later or whatever, and they say, John, I wish we would have done this 10 years ago. It forced us to clean out the floor. Like, I mean, the floor is great, but like all the other little goodies I come home to a clean floor. I didn't expect this. And when that gets in your system and you truly believe that you're bringing value to somebody's life, that enthusiasm is not interpreted as being pushy or sleazy. They invited you into their home to buy this product. And you've got the best product and a company you can believe in. Your job is not to be pushy, but it's to be so energetic and enthusiastic about what it is that we do, taking ugly spaces and making them look beautiful, taking boring, unutilized areas and making them way more practical and exciting. Fitz, I can't leave it. I know you would love this floor. Are we just a little off on the money? Is the only thing holding you back, is it just more? It is. It's just, hang on a second. I'm gonna call my boss. I want to earn your business. And when you believe what you're doing is going to make them happier, better, more fulfilled, a better living space, bring value to their kids, their lives, their grandkids, take on a new hobby, or at the very least come home to a clean space, and you believe that because you've seen it, you know it's going to turn out great, you've got it in your own life, then you're just empowered to fight for their business. Yeah. And then sometimes that means we're following up. Like today, even in my shop, we sell 30%, sometimes 40% of our deals are getting closed the next day. That wasn't that way 5 years ago. So follow-up is becoming even more and more. But I'm unapologetically fighting for your business. I'm texting you the next morning. I'm sending you an email. If I haven't heard from you 3 days, I'm knocking on the door. Why? Because I know you're going to love this product, and I want to earn your business.
Yeah.
Just go after it.
Here's an interesting question, and I would put a very large bet that the answer is more than one time in your in-home career. How often a homeowner is filling out paperwork with you and makes the comment of, I can't even believe we're doing this. We said we weren't going to buy something today. How many times did that happen to you in your career? Was it more than one?
Oh, more than one. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. I can't tell you. I mean, in the amount of times where, I've been met at the door by somebody going, hey, just so you know, we're not doing anything today. So don't try any funny business. And I'm like, hey, no problem. Right. And then at the end of it, they're like, how did you do that? And it's like, I didn't do anything. Like you did that, kind of thing. I just answered your questions. Or somebody just blatantly going like, we never do this. And it just, I don't know how we ended up doing it. Like, well, it felt right? And like, yeah. Okay. And you wanted to do it? Yeah. Okay. Then do you feel like you're making the right decision? Yeah. Great. I'm excited for you. This is going to be awesome.
Phenomenal. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's again, to your point, I think it's you go see the things that your company's doing, you see the product that you're installing, and I don't think that there's really too many people out there that would be willing to represent a bad company, a bad product, that most people wouldn't be able to sleep at night, right? And if you feel really good about who you're representing and you believe in the quality of yourself as a human being,
that's right,
then you really should believe that you walking out the door and allowing somebody else to come in behind you puts that homeowner at real risk of getting it wrong and becoming a part of the very large statistic that is the really not so good, relationship that home remodeling companies have with homeowners, right? That experience is a really terrible experience for our industry. And I always truly believe that, I've done you a disservice if I don't do everything I can to earn your business, because I know that there is a percentage of times that I get it wrong and my company gets it wrong, but it is significantly smaller of a chance if you go with me than if you go with the next guy. like, because I'm guaranteeing you I'm going to do everything in my power to take care of you. And I can't guarantee that for you on the next person that comes in the door. So, like, I'm going to give you everything I got.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right. So I got a question for you guys here. In the one-on-one with every customer, you know, what I talk to my team members about is you've had the conversation 1,000 times and you start to feel like you can guess what this next person is going to tell you. And how do you guys encourage salespeople if they have a streak of losing to a competitor or a streak of just not getting the sale for whatever reason? Or sales guys, you touched on it earlier, if a sales guy's close rate drops, it's usually they're not spending enough time in the home. How do you encourage them when they start to feel like each day is kind of the same? I love the passion in the home. I do the same thing with my team. I'm like, stay curious. Every single person that comes across our social media is an opportunity to make a friend. But how do you guys encourage these guys if they feel like they're stuck in a rut?
I've got 7 salespeople on my team, on my dealership, and they come in 2 categories. 7 salespeople, being salesmen or saleswomen, doesn't matter. I've got 2 kinds of salespeople. The first one is cut from my cloth a little bit. We can talk. We're charismatic. We're passionate. We wing it a little bit more, but we can hang our hat on the fact that I can make a friend. And I'm hard to say no to, and I'm enthusiastic, and I'm just gonna, Jay, just go get your damn checkbook, would you? You know you want this product, and I can just kind of get the deal done because I'm a natural closer, right? That's half of my sales team. The other half are disciplined. Mm-hmm. I see it almost, the other half may not have that. They don't even come across as a salesperson, but they give the exact same presentation. They don't take shortcuts. They use the video. They do the moisture meter. If we're selling concrete coatings, the pick test, they spend 48 minutes. They got it down. They say the exact same thing. They've honed it in. They're professional. They're Tiger Woods waking up at 5 a.m. to hit chip shots and Michael Jordan throwing. They're just plain disciplined. They have mastery of 3 closes. They know what to do. They pivot to a third-party call on everything. They follow up every morning at 7. Like, they just disciplined. So sometimes I've got high closers that close at 38 to 42% because that's just how God wired their brain, and they're just enthusiastic, and that comes very naturally. Then I've got another set of amazing salespeople that can hang their hat on just being disciplined. So not a direct answer to your question, but one of those 2 things, if one of those 2 things can describe you, like, you're probably going to do pretty well at this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think if you're in many cases, one of the things that I will hearken back to for a rep, most of us know kind of the foundational things that we need to be doing, right? Like, I'm not spending enough time, if that's my strength, I'm not spending enough time making a friend, or I'm having a hard time making a friend and I'm not making connections, or this part of my presentation seems to be lackluster right now, right? In either one of those categories that John's experiencing. And, I was having a conversation with a rep not too long ago where they were, in that dreaded S word that, we don't name as salespeople ever because it's, if you talk about it, it happens. But the doubt creeps into your brain. That's what ends up happening. And it's crazy how quickly it can get there where you start to say, oh, shoot, can I still do this? Did I forget how to do this? Like, did I lose that magic? And it's weird how even if you've been doing this for 20 years, you can all of a sudden go like, did the game pass me by? And maybe it's not weird because, like, the greatest of all time, you said Tiger Woods, like, the game passed him by. Like, age catches up, and maybe, like, I was of a different era, and now, like, it's a different process or whatever. But, the reality is you didn't forget how to do this. Like, people don't change. Like, you know how to do this. You just hit a tough patch. And what I remind them of is you forgot how fun this job is. And I'm a big believer in the fact that this is the best kept secret in America. Like, the fact that, like, my friends never, like, went like, hey, can I come see what you're doing? And, like, how cool this is. And you can make what doing this? Like, that's bananas, right? So the first question I will ask the rep is like, hey, are you having fun? And they're like, well, no, of course not. I'm getting my teeth knocked in on every appointment. I'm like, okay. And all you're worried about is I'm not making a paycheck. Like, yeah, well, you stink of not having fun when you walk into every home you're having, and people don't want to buy from people who are not having fun. Get in there and go have fun. That's all I want you to focus on tomorrow. Go have fun. And they're like, that's it? Nothing else? Like, you're not going to tell me, like, tighten this up or, like, role play this? I'm like, nope, go have fun tomorrow. And they call me the next day and like, I went 3 for 3 today. Had a lot of fun. Like, yeah, man, just go have some fun. Relax. You know how to do this. Like, you didn't forget the lines you're supposed to say or the responses or questions or whatever. Just relax. Go have fun. And it's weird how that works. And I have still 2 reps that don't even work for me, haven't worked for me in like 10 years. And they'll call me when they're in a slump and they'll go, hey, man, I'm struggling. I need you to ask me that thing. Like, dude, it's been 10 years. I'm still asking you this question. Like, can you just record it and hit play next time you need this? Like, no, I need to hear it real time. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that. And that's, the joy of being the owner or the manager is you get to reinvigorate and inspire the troops. And that's a great question. To John's first comment is know your people. Mm-hmm. Know what their strengths are. Are they systems people or are they more charismatic? And then follow up with a great question. Are you having fun with your systems? Are you having fun with your, off the cuff, whose line is it anyway type of salesmanship? And then just be curious and encourage them. That's a great story, Fitz. People that don't even work for you are like, hey, I need you to say it for me.
Yeah.
And there's power there too, where you get to give them permission to be great again. Mm. Hey, I'm just going to remind you, you're great, and keep being great. That's awesome.
Yeah, don't forget you're a rock star. Like, go be a rock star again. Just go have some fun.
And I think it also highlights, guys, the need for the true sales management role. If you're going to, you could just be out a one person, you're a charismatic person, maybe you're running one crew and you can sell it. But if you're going to grow an organization that has a couple salespeople and then grows to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, there is a necessary responsibility for somebody to nurture salespeople. We are emotional. We are prone to highs. We're prone to lows. We do get in dips. We all do. It's our gift and it's our curse. If we were steady Eddie, we'd be accountants or attorneys, or we'd be something Eddie. We're not. We're train wrecks. Like, we're up and we're down, and that's our gift and our strength. I think about Barry Hakes, who's been our sales manager for years at our shop, and he does a lot of things well. But the thing that always stands out to me is his ability to know his reps, to encourage his reps, to know when they're down, what they need. And it's oftentimes a pep talk from Fitz. It's oftentimes just hey, I know something's going on at home. What can I do? Right? I know you. Hey, on your next appointment, just go in with a business card and a blank sheet of paper and mix it up, dude. You're in your head. Just tell more stories, right? You're go and do something different. But the role of that sales manager to encourage and nurture and then manage by numbers, right? To recognize things and actually hold our teams accountable to best practices and do ride-alongs. Like, it's a critical part of our organization's growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny when my first job that I got promoted into sales management, I had, I don't know, felt like 75 different interviews that I had to go through in the organization I got it with. And the last person I interviewed with was the president of the organization at that time. And the question he asked me was, what is your background in psychology? And I went, we're talking about selling windows, right? That's what did I apply for the wrong thing? And he's like, well, no, you're going to be dealing with salespeople. He goes, you are aware they're nuts, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. No, it's great. I know what we're doing. And, I'll maybe speak out of turn if I am, John. I think there's a reason you and I both like talking. I think we both like talking to Jay so much is he's, it's like free therapy when you talk to Jay, with his background is, he could calm us down a little bit, talk us off ledges at times, right? Which, again, salespeople need that, man. It's especially in this world where it's feast or famine. And the weight of the world is on your shoulders when you ring that doorbell and you're either coming out of it with food on the table or not. And that can be a long ride home, knowing that like it was a great day or a failure and there's no in between, if all you're looking at is the 1 for 1 or 0 for 1. And a manager's job is to be there to let them know, like, there were probably a lot of wins inside of that day, and you need to be able to find those so that you're prepared for the next opportunity for a win. And if you don't find them, you're not going to be able to get that win tomorrow. So yeah, I've seen too many companies when they get to a certain size hold off on that hire, and it will 100% not only stunt your growth, but it'll rocket fire you backwards, because you will lose really good middle players on your sales team who could have been great because they don't get the time, the attention, or the pat on the back or the kick in the butt when they need it.
That's right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the attention that you can give people is, and this is just across the board in leadership. I schedule one-on-ones with everybody on my team, and a lot of times we don't even talk about work. Ask them how their kids are. And when you look at tenure with a company, and Barry did talk about this when he was on the show, is that tenure is something to brag about. You created an environment where your team goes, hey, I can call you after hours. If I got off of a 7 p.m. appointment and it sucked, the homeowner was an absolute tool, and I just need to tell somebody about it. And it's like, dude, I shot you a message and you got back to me. That's like super high value. Yeah, I laugh. You guys talk about getting a sales manager. I'm a marketer, but I have worked with companies where they don't have a sales manager, and they call me. And they're like, hey, I just ran one of your appointments. I just need to complain about it for a while. And I listened to them, and I've got quite a few of these stories. The one was down in Texas, and it was a Friday afternoon. I was sitting on my front porch drinking bourbon, and he calls me, and I look at my phone, and I go, I know exactly what this is. And I hit answer the call, and he's like, hey, I just left this guy's house, and he rambled on and on. I go, dude, that sounds really hard. What do you want me to do? He goes, oh, nothing. I just needed to tell someone. Because he was the only sales guy. He didn't have a manager. He didn't have somebody he could go to. They were running lean. And I go, okay, are we good? He goes, yeah, man, thanks for taking my call. It's like just being there. And when you get big enough to have a manager, it's a huge thing. Psychology is just, take care of your people. Take care of your people.
There's no doubt about it.
That's good. Cool. We're coming up on time. John, any last thoughts? Any parting wisdom? Any tidbits that you wanted to throw out there, or did we let you say everything you wanted to say?
You better cut me off, because I'm gonna end with go Vikes, and guys, back to the basics, and yourself. Man, the reports I'm hearing about the work that you guys are doing with helping home improvement companies grow and doing one-on-one coaching and consulting, it's inspiring. I appreciate it, and it's been fun. Glad to have you on our team.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thanks for coming on, sir.
And as always, at the end, we get to say the awkward thing: like and subscribe.
Yes, that's right.
Join the Fitz and Franson community and be a part of what we're doing here. So that's awesome.
Can I do this again? Do I get invited back again? This is awesome.
We'll see how the ratings go, but anytime, John. Anytime, John. Always awesome talking with you, man, for sure.
You guys are great. Have a wonderful day.
You too, sir.
Yep.
Always a pleasure, guys.